Last summer, a little girl in Wales discovered at the seashore the footprints of a dinosaur made in the sand and fossilized over the centuries. And when the experts got there, they proclaimed them to be 200 million years old. People have begun to realize that the Bible is not a book of science. It has other purposes. But there's another approach to the Bible which I think is still prevalent among Christians. It's looking at the Bible as if it were a family album. You know, you all have one of those, usually with photographs, and you can go back to maybe even the great-grandparents if they were doing photography in those days. And I couldn't go back to my great-grandparents because I don't think they were doing photography in those days. But that's not what the Bible is either. It's not a memory book. It's not to tell us about the history of Jesus in the early church. It's a place of encounter with the Lord who gives us himself in the scriptures. Take, for instance, today's gospel. Jesus asks the disciples, "Who do people say I am, and who do you say I am?" And he asks each one of us the exact same question in the course of our life. He asks it over and over again because our relationship with him should change over and over again as we grow in intimacy with the Lord who comes to us in the person of Jesus. And he finally tells us, when we admit that he is who he is, that this discipleship is going to be difficult. It's not going to be an easy road. And we need to hear that. Because like looking at a family album, Christianity can be a very painless experience if it's all memories of the past and not letting yourself as a disciple meet the present, what is to come, with equanimity and patience and assurance and faith that the God who calls us to discipleship will also preserve us in that discipleship until he comes again. So we have to be careful, because in these weeks after Pentecost, we are learning what it means to be a disciple. And today it is presented to us very straightforwardly by Jesus that to be a disciple of mine, to encounter suffering in the world as I did, and to accept it in the same manner that I did, with confidence in my Father's ultimate victory over sin and death, and removing us eventually from the world we have created with sin and death, and take us into the world which he has prepared for us in and through Jesus. So this is sort of a crisis point in this long course in discipleship since Pentecost. We have to face the fact that discipleship is difficult, painful, and ultimately, for some people, even death-dealing. But that is our call. That is what it means to imitate the one who came to give his life for everyone.